And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Bellow Field for today's Elite 8 matchup between the Brandeis University Judges and the Tufts University Jumbos. My name is Lucas Johnson, and I'm joined alongside by Andrew Anderton. Andrew, this is a big rematch between these two teams as Tufts already beat the Judges once this year, 1-0, thanks to a Brett Rojas goal coming from the foot of Gavin Tasker with the assist. What do the Judges have to do today to get revenge on the Jumbos?
Well, I think the Judges will be looking towards their key players so far this season. Mike Lynch and Josh Osell, who are both seniors. Josh Osell has racked up 4 goals and 11 assists, and Mike Lynch has 7 goals so far this season. So, given that they're both seniors, I'm sure they're going to have a desire to play and make the rest of their last season a memorable one.
In net today, we've got Ben Woodhouse going up for the Judges, and he's going to be facing Connor Meath. Meath has been so good for the Jumbos, as the Jumbos actually haven't scored a goal yet in regulation in the NCAA Division III men's soccer tournament, as both their 2 games have gone to penalties, where Meath has really been fantastic. Made a save yesterday, and he made 2 saves last week against St. Joseph's. Of course, why don't you comment on the weather today? It's a beautiful day, but it's not necessarily too cold out, but we do have a ton of wind that's going to be gusting and playing a big factor for the keepers.
Yeah, precisely. I mean, the keepers are going to have to be on their game to track every single ball, because with it being as windy as it is, you know, gusts going over 30 miles an hour today, who knows what will happen when a long ball gets sent down the field.
Yeah, I believe the real field said it was 45 or so today, but winds, as you just mentioned, could pick up to about 33 miles per hour. It's a beautiful sunny day now, but earlier in the day it was raining, so it'll be interesting to see if the field's a bit slick, if players are slipping around out there, but we shall see what happens. Big matchup, trip to the Final Four at stake. Final Four will be played, I believe, December 1st, so whoever wins this game will have next weekend off, which is big to rest up, as I'm sure both these teams are battling injuries. It's very important to get those off days and just rest up. As the teams get ready to take the field, we are almost set to kick off this Elite 8 matchup between 2 Division III men's soccer powerhouses, the Judges and the Jumbos.
Well, yes, this game may very well be a case of an unstoppable force and an immovable object, because, as we know, Tufts have had a great defense so far this season. That's really characterized their game, whereas the Judges really do have many attacking threats, and so it's going to be interesting to see how the Tufts defense copes with the attacking threat posed by Brandeis.
Of course, Connor Meath getting the start in net for the Jumbos. He's been so good in this tournament. Bruce Johnson went down earlier in the season with, I believe, a leg injury, and we've seen him warming up in warm-ups, and it seems like he would be fit if he were needed, if Meath were to go down, but Coach Shapiro definitely just riding the hot hand that is Connor Meath right now.
Well, yes, obviously the junior has been absolutely pivotal in Tufts' success this season, and I think in order for them to see this game out and possibly advance, he's going to have to play a key role this match.
Kevin Holliday gets us underway. Elite 8 between the Judges and the Jumbos. This is Connor Coleman moving it upfield, one of the co-captains for this Jumbo squad. The other, of course, being Sterling Weatherby.
See, Tufts making a play up the field early on, obviously looking to get things started, but it's out for a throw-in, or a free kick, rather.
Yeah, quick whistle as Travis and Brewer hit the deck. And Weatherby will get us resumed. Low ball. Woodhouse is ready to field it, but instead, Osell will take. Here come the Judges. This is Brighter. Brighter working on Weatherby.
Well, yeah, from a Tufts free kick, obviously intercepted by Brandeis, and Brandeis wasting no time, moving it right back up the field in a counter-attacking fashion.
Calvin Arrow getting the start for the Jumbos, the freshman. Tyler Kulsar dealing with a bit of a hamstring injury, I believe. Jackson Ajar with it for the Jumbos. Zinner is being collapsed there by Flayhive, and it forces Zinner's ball to go out of play. Hennessy will get us resumed into Mike Lynch.
Oh, unlucky there for number 6. Just took it a little too far outside the line. It's a Tufts throw.
Zinner sends it in, looking for Eichhorst. Hernandez on the deck, holding his face. He thinks he got elbowed, but no call from the ref.
Obviously, very competitive game today. I'm sure we're going to see all sorts of different things from both teams to get each other an advantage, but
well, at this stage in the tournament, you don't want any game to be decided based on a call by the referee, so I'm sure we'll see the referee letting a lot of things go. Obviously, that play there a little bit too physical as Dylan Hennessy and Zach Lane got involved, but I'm sure we're going to see a fair amount of pushing and shoving go uncalled.
Well, clearly a grudge match for Brandeis as well, given that they lost 1-0 to Tufts when they played earlier in the season. So clearly the competitive nature of the match is there, and both sides are really going to be fighting for it this game, I feel.
Osel's ball goes out of play. Tufts gets in for Zach Lane. Nice slide tackle there by Osel.
Good challenge of stopping the Tufts advance for a moment.
In for Lane. Lane working on Vincent. Try to get a ball into the box there for Van Brewer. Intercepted there by the Brandeis defense. Tufts will reset here. Send it back for Jackson Najjar. Flay Hive in the area for the judges.
A good spell of possession for Tufts thus far. They've been pretty adept at holding the ball so far in this match, and yep.
Eichhorst tracking that one down. Tried to lead Weatherby, but too much on it. Out of play for a judge throw. Whistle going to go against Sterling Weatherby there.
We've seen a series of contentious challenges early on in this game. Clearly an indication of how this game's going to go. It's going to be a tough battle, but hopefully both teams play it fair.
Josh Osel whips the ball in the box. Connor Coleman there to get ahead on it, and Kevin Halliday will just boot it upfield.
Could see what he's trying to do there, just float a ball into the box, maybe get on to the head of one of his attackers, but at the end of the day,
with the rip.
At the end of the day, just a little too much on that.
Saw Dylan Hennessy there take a shot. Connor Meath didn't have to move too much. He had that ball well tracked all the way. And we've seen our first shot and our first save of the day.
Yeah, Connor Meath tested for the first time today. Obviously an easy save for him, but he's going to have to keep alert in order to maintain awareness over the Brandeis attack.
Ball moving here from Tufts. Here's Holiday. Eichhorst. And on Vincent. Leads Zinner. Zinner sends the ball into the box. Headed effort there by Holiday. Trickles down, and Woodhouse right there to corral it.
An absolutely great cross there from the right side, and you could see what he was trying to do, just pick out the head of number 9. But unfortunately, not too much on that header. Sailed just a bit wide of the goal, and easy for the goalkeeper to pick up.
Calvinero pops that one up in the air. Nice job there by Brighter. And Brighter still plowing his way down through the Jumbo's defense. Weatherby will just boot it up and out of play. Brandeis now with the throw deep in Jumbo territory. Get it in for Hennessy. Hennessy, ball into the box. Lynch went for it, but just sailed a little bit to the left of his head. Good effort there by Hennessy on the cross.
Yeah, so once again, an excellent ball, and yeah, inches away from a possible threat for Connor Meath.
And as you may be able to hear from our headsets, the wind certainly is picking up here. Right now it appears to be blowing in the direction of Connor Meath.
Yeah.
Obviously both sides do switch at halftime, so each goalie is going to have to deal with it. But right now I'd say advantage to Brandeis.
Yes, Connor Meath's going to have to maintain extreme focus over the path of the ball, as I mentioned earlier. And we'll see if he's up to the task during his first half.
You can see right there the referee blowing his whistle a couple times as Meath keeps placing the ball and it just keeps rolling towards him. And it kind of shifted a little bit before that kick, but I don't think the ref was very pleased. I don't know if he realized what was happening, so Meath did well to just get that ball out of there. And Connor Coleman will head it back to Connor Meath.
As you can see how challenging the wind's been for the players so far. It's so hard to predict the movement of the ball, and it's clearly going to be a very big factor in today's game, not only for the goalies, but for the outfield players as well, just trying to time the movement of the ball.
Holiday gives for Eichhorst. Eichhorst trying to get it back to Holiday. Vincent does a good job to get it out of there. Now Brighter working on Trevorrow. Jar sends it out of play, keeping Flahy from it.
Tufts momentarily stopping the attack with some no-nonsense defending there.
Throw to the edge of the area. Trevorrow gets ahead on it first. Van Brewer pops it back up. Still in danger. Najar gets a foot on it, and Zinner does a good job to clear. Ball was loose for a little bit, and here comes Kevin Holiday.
Very impressive lofting throw into the box by Brandeis there. But unfortunately for Tufts, they're able to deal with it and begin to move forward up the field.
Van Brewer's pass for Trevor had too much on it. And Joshua Handler will get us resumed. Foul going against Brandeis. Travis Van Brewer was knocked down. Van Brewer the first year, but he's had quite the impact on this team. He's so good with his feet. Displays excellent skill. Eichhorst to Lane. Eichhorst was calling for it. Lane's ball deflected. That was Hennessy.
Well, you really get the feeling that if he could play him through there, that would have been a really good chance for Tufts. But unfortunately, unfortunately for Tufts, that is, intercepted by the Brandeis defense.
Lynch got knocked down, no call, says the ref. That ball trickled all the way back to Connor Meath. And Flahy will come in to force Meath to corral it. Once again, the winner of this game moves on to the Final Four. A spot where both these teams were last year. Ultimately, the judges were knocked out in the Final Four. It was Tufts who moved on and eventually won the national championship. Holiday goes down. That was Christian Hernandez who's going to get whistled.
Yes, you see the continuing pattern of fouls early on in this game, and I get the sense personally that it's not going to stop anytime soon.
Got Kevin Holiday and Travis Van Brewer in the area to take. Holiday, ball into the box, headed out of there by Hernandez. Or excuse me, that was Flahy, I believe. Trickles out for a jumbo throw.
It's a little too close to the, yes, a little too far from the goal there, that free kick, and fortunately for Tufts, it was sent considerably down the field, but they are on the attack again.
Here's Lane. Lane goes down, and that is going to be a foul going against the judges. That's not what you want if you're Brandeis. Looks like Lane was just outside of the penalty area, but a dangerous position for the Jumbos nonetheless.
This a very, very close position for a free kick, and you get the sense that Tufts are going to try to make the most of it on this occasion. About 20 yards out, very prime position.
Real chance here for the Jumbos. 10 minutes have gone by, no score. Tufts looking to change that right here.
Obviously, Brandeis lining up with that wall, trying to keep the goal protected. We'll see if it's enough.
Van Brewer,
Ooh.
broken up by the wall. Eichhorst with it in the box. Zinner wanted a handball. Tough shot goes well over the crossbar. Well done by the judges there to prevent Tufts from breaking through early on.
That's precisely. Good defending by the judges there, and did well to stop what could have been a very dangerous situation for them.
Ball off the head of Calvinero. Trevor will track it down. Trevor's ball intended for Lane. Broken up there. Aggressive play by Flayhive to win the ball for his team. But Lane gets it back for Tufts.
Yes, thus far in the game, you've seen a lot of long balls up the field for Brandeis, a lot of headed plays, obviously more physicality, aggressive plays, obviously looking to dominate the game in that sense. And so far they've had some luck with it, being able to outmaneuver Tufts in the air, and that's clearly going to be a key factor for them going into the later stages of this game.
We just saw a poor play there by Dylan Hennessy. I think he tried to get a lot under that ball and ultimately just mishit it. It went right into the foot of a jumbo. Brandeis was threatening, but that threat fizzled out quickly. And here come the jumbos. Van Brewer with it, center of the field. Bring it near side for Lane. Lane gets by Hennessy. Najar battling Flayhigh for it, and it winds up with Coleman.
Yes, despite being cut out of that attack early on, Tufts still managed to maintain possession for a sizable period of time, showing that they have what it takes to keep their cool and maintain possession even when threatened by the Brandeis defense.
Zinner getting by Lynch and Osell. Up now for Holiday. Eichhorst. Near side Lane. Holiday. Eichhorst. Eichhorst ball loose. Woodhouse came out, got a hand on it. And the judges send it out for a jumbo throw deep into judge territory.
Shaky times for Brandeis. That could have been a real threat there on the judge's goal. We're able to scramble it away in the nick of time, luckily.
Looks like Sterling Weatherby, the long throw specialist, gonna whip a ball near post for Coleman. Coleman lets it go, kind of just bouncing around the box, and the judges have it. Eichhorst battling Handler for it. Now Osell getting involved. Ball goes out for a judge throw.
Yes, Tufts playing it down the field simply to slow down the judge's attack there, and it seems to have worked.
Arrow beats Flayhigh for that ball. Lane with a bit of a heavy touch, but Hennessy couldn't quite clear it. Now here's Mike Lynch. His ball intercepted by Najar. He sends it upfield, where Handler will settle on it.
Well, yes, Tufts playing some very good pressure so far in this first half, as we've seen. They've definitely threatened the Brandeis goal, and you'd have to argue that in order to get something from this game, they're going to have to maintain that pressure throughout the 90 minutes.
This is Zach Lane with it. Lane sends the bar far side where Trevorrow is trying to get there, but instead it's going to be Handler who gets to it first. Nice bit of skill there by Handler.
It's a really long, ambitious pass there by Lane. And if it came off, it would have been great, but he gets the ball now.
Osell just went down. Seemed like a clean play. Now here's Holiday. Holiday leaves it for Van Brewer. Weatherby gives it back to Holiday. Well done by the judges there. Osell. A little bit too much on that pass, looking for Noah Gans.
Well, the
Play
judges
for a Tufts throw.
Yes, the judges had a real chance to break there. It was 3-on-3 against the Tufts defense, but luckily for the Jumbos, Tufts were able to deal with that and now look to move forward.
Ball coming towards us. Zach Lane unable to track that one down. Hennessy gets it in for Lynch. Flay Hive. This is Hernandez. Osell with it. Ball into the box. Nobody home for Brandeis. Out of bounds for a Connor Meath goal kick.
Just a little too ambitious there, a little off the mark. Obviously, the wind picked up during that play sequence as well. Surely couldn't have helped the Brandeis attack, but nonetheless fizzles out, and Tufts are looking to restart.
Got a good contingency of fans here for both sides. Obviously, Brandeis was here yesterday, so the fans and the parents of the judges definitely stayed overnight, came back out to support their team. And the Jumbos, like always, have a good fan base here at Tufts, and they came out to support their Jumbos. As Vincent gets ahead on that one. Lane wins it back for the Jumbos. Icor switching sides of the field for Weatherby. Weatherby's ball finds the hands of Ben Woodhouse.
Yeah, you have to question what he was thinking there with that ball. Straight into the hands of the goalkeeper. Obviously Lane running onto it, but just a little too far away for him to be able to make anything happen from that.
Trevorrow and Handler battling for that ball. Goes out of play for a judge throw. This Flay Hive. Leaves off for Gans. Intercepted by Trevorrow. Lane settles it. Tries to get around Hennessy. Hennessy with a big tackle. Well done.
Well, yes, Tufts unable to move it out from the back, and now Brandeis are looking threatening on the right wing of the field.
This is Josh Osell with it. Osell, ball into the box. Sails past the head of Patrick Flay Hive. Good idea, just need to execute a little bit better for the judges.
Once again, the wind certainly didn't help in that situation, but Brandeis are going to need to take that into account when making their crosses. We've seen a couple of crosses that didn't go their way, and they're clearly going to have to factor in the wind.
So we've seen both keepers have to get involved thus far, but no real threats for either side just yet. Smith's ball finds Zach Lane. Ball's going to trickle out for a judge throw. Hennessy looking long for Patrick Flay Hive. Instead, it's the Jumbos who won it. Now Halliday trying to win it from Osell. Osell for Hennessy. Hennessy for Brighter. Lynch. Noah Gans in the battle with it. Gans with a low cross in the box. Booted up in the air by Arrow. Trevor sends it upfield, getting it out of danger where Eichhorst is waiting. Here's Lane. Jumbo's moving men upfield now. Holiday. Holiday's ball for Zinner. Zinner tripped up there by Mike Lynch. Clear call there. And the Jumbos will have a set piece now.
Yes, yet another foul. And earlier on that play sequence, you saw Brandeis with some excellent possession in the attacking third, moving the ball around well. Couldn't make an attempt on the goal on that occasion. Then you just saw Tufts move it up the field with pace, and luckily for the Jumbos, they're able to have a clear-cut opportunity now.
Halliday, ball in the box, headed out of there by Christian Hernandez. Well done there by the senior.
Could have been very threatening there for Brandeis, but fortunately for their defense, they're able to clear it, and now Tufts are going to see what they can do with this corner.
First substitution of the day as Alex Ratson comes onto the game for the Jumbos, replacing Zach Trevorrow. Ratson had a real good game for the Jumbos yesterday. Sent a lot of good balls in the box. Jumbos have a corner now. It's Van Brewer who's going to take. Van Brewer, ball in the box. Woodhouse gets a fist on it. Lane is there, heads it back into the box. Handler sends it upfield for Osell. Osell with a nice bit of skill there.
Well, could have been very dangerous there for the Brandeis goalkeeper. Very good ball into the box on that corner, but he was able to punch it away, really showing dominance over the situation there. And then Brandeis began to move it up the field.
Looks like Weatherby got whistled for a handball, I believe. He was on the ground when he tried to nudge that ball away, and he might have got it with his arm. A little over 20 minutes gone by in this first half. Still no score.
We'll see what Brandeis are able to do with this free kick. Obviously a bit farther out, but they'll likely look to find the head of one of their players in the box.
Osell chip into the box. Ooh, too far past the left post, excuse me, and Meath just lets that one go out of play. Now the judges will make a couple substitutions here. Panera comes on for Hennessy. And Evan Glass will come in as well to replace Noah Gans. Coleman pushing it upfield. Eichhorst for Halliday. Looking to thread Ratson.
Very, very threatening ball there for the Brandeis defense. Almost made it through a Tufts attacker. Would have had a clear shot on goal, but well dealt with there.
Coleman gets ahead on it first. Ratson controls, gives to Arrow. Arrow does a good job to win it back. Osell was threatening. And Osell takes it right away from Arrow. And whistle going against the Jumbos as Josh Osell went down.
Yeah, certainly Tufts could have made something from that attack, but that foul there certainly put an end to their ambitions on this play.
Vincent sends it well upfield where Weatherby's waiting for it. This is Lynch. Sends it back, Handler with it. Ratson intercepts it. And now Halliday. Ratson try to feed Eichhorst. Broken up there by Evan Glass. Here's Lynch. Well done by Travis Van Brewer to break that up. Panera. Once again intercepted by Travis Van Brewer. Eichhorst leads Zach Lane near side.
You see there the Tufts defense being absolutely unrelentless. I mean, they absolutely track every single ball, and any little mistake made by the Brandeis attackers, they jump on it right away. Obviously, you saw a bit of a heavy touch there, and they capitalized on that and were able to retrieve the ball.
More substitutions for the Jumbos now. I see Josh Burr coming in as well as Andrew Allen. And coming off is Christian Hernandez and Mike Lynch. They'll get a breather. Ball popping up in the air. Finally, Evan Glass settles on it. Hennessy boots it upfield. Sinner pops it up, gets around Flayhive. Nice piece of skill. Field now. Halliday is there, battling Vincent. Hennessy. Van Brewer forcing that one out of play.
Well, yes, an excellent piece of skill there at the back by Matt Zinner. Certainly could have led to an attack for Tufts, but unfortunately for them, fizzled out there. Now Brandeis have a chance to move forward.
So Travis Van Brewer there giving up his body. Van Brewer, of course, 5'7", 140. Still not afraid to get involved. Ball upfield, Ratson trying to chase it down, and he does in the corner. Ball goes out of play for a jumbo throw. A couple substitutions coming on for Tufts. Looks like Brett Rojas and Jack Delaney will come on for Travis Van Brewer and Dexter Eichhorst.
And given how close this throw is to the corner line, it's likely that Tufts are going to just look to loft this one to the box and try to get ahead on it. Obviously, very proficient at long throws.
Osell gets ahead in it first. Ratson will send it back for Najjar. Weatherby's ball deflects off of Osell. Rojas giving chase to it. Here's Lane. Lane's chip might have been deflected a little bit into the hands of Ben Woodhouse. It goes.
Clearly the goalkeeper there focusing on tracking that ball, but in the end, easy for him to deal with.
Of course, Brett Rojas in the game now. He is the one who scored the only goal in the earlier matchup between these two teams this season when the Jumbos won 1-0. As I mentioned earlier, it was Tasker. Gavin Tasker got the assist. Tasker out this weekend due to illness. Zinner puts a move on Panera. Now Halliday. Give it back to Zinner. Zinner's ball deflects off of Evan Glass. And the offsides flag is up. Flayhav a little bit too quick.
Well, so you saw there Tufts launching yet another of their attacks so far this half, and while they have been certainly threatening, you haven't seen many clear-cut chances from them thus far, and you'd hope to see more open chances for the Jumbos in this half.
Weatherby sends it upfield, looking for Rojas. Vincent gets to it first. Halliday settles on it. Now Arrow. Arrow will defer to Zinner. Halliday, give it back to Zinner. Ball intercepted by Panera, well done. Upfield now, Flayhigh battling Najjar.
Well, poor touch there by the Tufts attacker, created what could have been a very dangerous situation, but once again, luckily for them, well intercepted there by number 20 there for Tufts.
Judges get it in. Here's Osell. Now Hennessy. Hennessy ball into the box. Headed out of there by Weatherby. Pass intended for the newly entered Reno Espiga. Also in the game, she mentioned Joe Braun coming in, which is good to see. He was dealing with a bit of a hamstring problem. Sat out yesterday's game, but he's back in action right now. And we'll have Osell setting up this corner here. Good opportunity here for the judges.
Well, yes, in the end, it was a very threatening chance for the Jumbos there. It took 2 players to deal with it, sent out for a corner, but as we see here in the end, Brandeis have been unable to capitalize on it.
Osell's ball had way too much on it. Goes out for a Meath goal kick. And into the game now comes Christian Zazali. He's going to replace Zach Lane. Should also be noted that last season these two teams met in the regular season at Brandeis, in which that game went to overtime, and Christian Zazali was the one who put the ball in the back of the net with just a few seconds left to give the Jumbos a 1-0 victory. Josh Berg heads that one over to Osell. Berg looking to bring it near side. Espiga was shielding his eyes from the sun, but he was able to retrieve it.
We see Brandeis here with a good spell of possession, just moving the ball back and forth, taking their time, and looking to make something happen.
You see Espiga again shielding his eyes from the sun. I'm not sure he was able to see that ball that time. Good piece of play there by Andrew Allen, winning the ball from Zinner. Espiga. Josh Berg. Osell gets around arrow. And a whistle going to go against Jack Delaney. Referee will stop the clock as Delaney put the ball out of play.
Well, very determined play here from the judges thus far. I mean, they have been very assertive on their attacks, and it looks like they've been certainly, determined to make something happen in this final third.
With the wind at their back, let's see what the judges can do here.
Obviously, this position probably a little too far to try to aim for goal, but at this point, with the wind as strong as it is, you never know.
Hennessy to first for Osell. Osell took a shot, bottom right corner, but Connor Meath is right there to make the diving save. Well done by the junior keeper.
Connor Meath being tested once again, but as we have seen from his past games, he's clearly a very reliable force there in goal, and that was no problem for him in the end.
Here's Joe Braun. Braun tripped up by Osell. Foul against Osell.
That's just getting his ankles hacked there a little bit. No one likes to see that, and rightfully called as a foul.
Jack Delaney goes for Zazali. Zinner centers it for Rojas. Rojas' pass intended for Braun, intercepted by Vincent. Andrew Allen goes down. Zinner going to be whistled for a foul. Referee will stop the clock. And he's going to issue Zinner today's first yellow card. So Zinner will have to play out the rest of this game, being a little bit more cautious perhaps.
Well, certainly what started as a Brandeis defensive clearance turned into an excellent opportunity for them, because now Zinner's obviously going to be playing on thin ice for the rest of the game, and that's something they may look to exploit, especially towards the latter stage of the second half.
Zinner was excellent in yesterday's game, shutting down Hopkins, arguably their best player, Junker. He had a big impact in that game. As Osell sends a low ball in the box, and there is Zinner, popping it up in the air. Whether he gets ahead on it, Meath try to corral it, but it's going to go out of play past the boundaries, and Osell set up for a corner kick.
Yet another chance for the judges, and we'll see if they'll be able to capitalize it this time around. Obviously their last corner didn't amount to anything, and so they're likely going to be looking to capitalize on this one.
Hennessy coming in short, but they'll send it into the box anyway. Meath gets a hand on it.
Well, just clawed away there by Connor Meath. No nonsense goalkeeping there from him. And you'd have to think he's been very assertive so far in this game, and that save was no exception.
Now Hennessy will set up far side of the field. Osell thought about coming in close, but he's going to go into the box. Hennessy whips one in, and that goes over the crossbar for a Meath goal kick.
Once again, that corner didn't really amount to anything. Too much power on that, too much spin, just went out, and you'd have to think Brandeis would be a little disappointed from that one on what could have been a great chance.
Coming up on about 10 minutes left to play in this first half. Still scoreless. I'd say fairly even game thus far. Both teams having their fair share of opportunities.
As you see there, the ball just being buffeted by the wind. The goal kick unable to go its full distance, but as we've seen thus far, clearly a big factor in this game has been the wind, and it'll continue to be well into the second half.
Ball off the foot of glass there. Zinner gets us restarted. Zinner being collapsed by two judges. Does a good job to get to Najjar. Najjar will pass back to his keeper. Rojas sizing that ball up. Sends it forward where Woodhouse is right there waiting. He'll pick it up.
Well, yes, the chance for the Jumbos fizzled out on that occasion, and Brandeis will certainly be looking to capitalize from this possession opportunity.
Woodhouse soars one up in the air where Rojas heads it to Weatherby. Ball winds up with Evan Glass. Hennessy sends it upfield where Zinner is there. Rojas flicks it on for Weatherby.
Well, both attacking sides are making it very difficult on their respective defenses. I mean, you see time and time again pressure being added, and oftentimes the only thing they can do is those no-nonsense clearances out for the throws to the other team. So clearly the attackers have been absolutely determined to make their mark in this first half.
Alex Ratson puts a little bit too much on that ball, goes out of play. Andrew Allen gets in for Osell. Rojas intercepts, flicks it up. Here's Joe Braun. Now Zazali. So I try to get to Rojas just a little bit too far out in front where Glass was there waiting for it. Rojas and Braun kind of in the same area, maybe a bit of a miscommunication there. Zazali with a low ball in, well done by Vincent as Joe Braun was there waiting. Rojas ball into the box, sails wide of the post. Good effort there by the Jumbos on that attack.
Well, tough situation there for Rojas. Obviously, caught on the back foot over there, trying to make the best of the situation, but unfortunately for him, the cross didn't really lead to anything, and Brandeis will be looking to restart.
Referee will stop the clock. He's going to say a word to Hennessy, it looks like. You can see the wind there blowing the ball around a little bit too. It's like in the NFL when trying to tee the ball up for a kickoff and it just keeps falling over. Both these teams experiencing a bit of the same on their set pieces and their goal kicks. Joe Braun shields Vincent to win that ball. Gift for Zazali.
Well, yes, the wind certainly has not discriminated during this game. Both teams affected, and you have to say it's a very challenging factor for them moving forward and looking to score. Obviously, adds a different dimension of play to the game, and it's going to be difficult for the teams to compensate that.
Ball into the box. Meath right there to catch it. Here's Zinner. Arrow being collapsed by 3 judges. Delaney tried to shield off Osell. Espiga has it. Now Andrew Allen. It's a poor touch there by Osell as it trickles out of play.
Unfortunate there. They maintained possession despite pressure from the Tufts defense, but ultimately a wasted opportunity there for Brandeis.
Center gets in for Najjar. Meath comes off his line. He's going to see that one come to the box where he'll just pick it up.
Yes, Andrew Allen was just trying to play in Espiga on that occasion, but touch was a little off and went straight back to the Tufts goalkeeper there. Not really much danger for the Tufts defense.
Here comes Weatherby moving upfield quickly. He's looking for Ratson. A little bit too much on that one. Ball goes out of play.
Yes.
Here's Vincent with it.
Obviously not an ideal situation for Tufts, losing possession there in the last play, but
Get it right back as Espiga's whistle for handball. 5 minutes left in this first half. Score still remains 0-0. Delaney wins it from Osell. Here's Coleman. Now Ratson. Alex Walter boots that ball up. We'll have a couple substitutions for both sides now. Joe Braun, perhaps on a bit of a minutes restriction, will come off the field. It's like Max Jacobs comes on. And Bernardo Pont comes on the game. And Jake Warren comes on as well for the judges.
well, once again, they're leading up to that throw, and you saw the no-nonsense defending, and clearly the Tufts attack was creating a lot of pressure for the Brandeis defense on that occasion, and that's something we've seen throughout this half, just the absolutely relentless pressure from both attackers.
Spiga flicks it upfield. Here's Arrow. Zinner sends it upfield looking for Jacobs. Jacobs battling Vincent. Vincent able to win that battle. A little bit too far past Pont. Zinner gives it to Jacobs. You can really hear that wind is picking up. Rojas bringing it towards the center of the field. Ratson hasn't tried to turn the corner a little bit too much on it. Delaney pops it up in the air. Here's Zinner. A little bit of miscommunication there by Zinner, between Zinner and Jacobs. Jacobs was moving one way, Zinner's passed the other. Calvin Arrow wins it back for Tufts. Far side now, Weatherby. Panera chasing down Weatherby. Weatherby's ball into the box, and Woodhouse will corral that one very easily.
Well, constant action here for Tufts in the past couple of minutes. They've launched several attacks, maintaining possession throughout, and clearly determined to make something happen for the end of this half and the few minutes that remain.
This is Glass. Send it back for Walter. Here comes Jackson Najjar as Espiga just slipped. Najjar passed a little bit behind Jacobs, but Jacobs into the box now. And Woodhouse had to come all the way out to break that one up. Well done by the keeper.
Yeah, the Spiga slip could have really cost Brandeis on that occasion. Probably one of the best chances of the game thus far for Tufts. But a very nerve-wracking situation there for the judges, but fortunately for them, they're able to just barely clear it.
There's a race to the ball between Jacobs and Woodhouse. And the senior keeper won that race. Now Brandeis looking to attack. Here's Warren. Panera. Panera tries to whip ball in the box, kind of dies out. Coleman will boot it upfield. Weatherby battling Handler for it, and it's Handler who comes away with it. Weatherby will just boot it up into judge territory. And here comes Brett Rojas. Rojas with a good touch there. Rojas in the box. Tries to send a low cross in, deflects off of a judge, and that goes out for a jumbo. I believe they're going to give a corner kick here as we're under 1 minute left in this first half.
Well, not the most convincing of clearances there by the Brandeis defense, and that just allowed Tufts to make an attacking opportunity. And now they have the corner in the final seconds to see what they can make of it.
I believe this is Jack Delaney who's going to take it. Delaney whips the ball into the box. Coleman there waiting. Woodhouse able to corral it. Connor Coleman just couldn't quite get a good head on that ball. It bounced before it reached Woodhouse, and Woodhouse was in good position for that save.
Well, Connor there just inches away from becoming a hero for the Tufts faithful, but unfortunately couldn't make anything happen, and you'd have to say that's probably the last chance of this first half.
Rats will send upfield, intercepted by the judges, and this clock will tick out, and that will conclude the first half. So after 45 minutes of play, roughly even game here between the judges and the Jumbos. Both keepers having to do a little bit of work, but no real scares for either side just yet. Wind is certainly picking up. We've got 15 minutes until the second half starts. We will be back shortly to discuss what each team needs to do to break through in the second half. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, back at Bellow Field here, the host site of the Elite Eight between the Tufts University Jumbos and the Brandeis Judges. My name is Lucas Johnson. I'm joined alongside by Andrew Anderton. So far, after 45 minutes of play, score is still scoreless here, 0-0. But this game has been far from boring, as we've seen a lot of good action from both sides, both on the offensive end and on the defensive end. Both keepers have had to work as well. We've seen good play by Connor Meath and by Ben Woodhouse. Andrew, aside from the keepers, who are one player on each side who's really impressed you thus far after 45 minutes of play?
Well, for the Jumbos, I'd have to say Zach Lane has made a big difference in the first half. I mean, certainly the playing on the right wing, he certainly showed his flair and his skills thus far, and he's certainly put many difficult balls into the box that have been difficult to deal with for the Brandeis defense. Clearly an ongoing threat, and clearly at 6'1", he clearly has physicality on his side as well, the sophomore from Lansing, Michigan. So I would expect to see much more from him in the second half, and he could be a real game changer.
And as far as the judges go, I've been very impressed with Josh Osell. Osell has been very good throughout the season for Brandeis. Obviously, he came up big last game for him as he got the assist on the game winner to Mike Lynch. What have you seen thus far to Osell?
Well, Osell's been a real creative force in the game. You know, you see he's been pivotal in the Brandeis attack moving forward, and he's made a series of well-placed passes that really have challenged the Tufts defense. As mentioned previously, he's also the top points holder on the Judges team with 19 overall, with 4 goals and 11 assists this season. So he clearly has what it takes to make a big difference in the game. And while he's not an out-and-out attacker, from what we have seen of him, he poses a threat in the attacking third, and he's able to play the precise balls to the attackers that need it. And you could really see him providing a game-winning assist.
And as we mentioned in the first half, the wind has been a big factor here. You could really see it was affecting Connor Meath's kicks. Both sides have switched halves of the field now. Of course, the wind has kind of died down, but as you were mentioning to me at halftime, it kind of comes in these bursts. It'll be pretty calm for a minute, and the next thing you know, it's giant 30-mile-per-hour gusts. But if there is any wind, which there clearly still is, it's still blowing in the direction of the net where Connor Meath was playing in the first half. So now Ben Woodhouse is going to have to deal with these conditions and this wind throughout the second half.
Well, that's clearly the sporadic nature of the wind adds an extra level of difficulty to it, because if it was ongoing, it'd be easier for the goalkeeper to predict. But given the fact that you never really know when the wind's going to hit, it just makes it that much more difficult for the goalkeeper to predict the flight of the ball and to time their kick. So we'll see what that plays into the game as far as the second half is concerned.
And Patrick Flahive will get us started for the second half. Once again, score still scoreless after 45 minutes of play. Something the Jumbos have been very used to throughout this tournament, as they still haven't scored a goal in regulation. Both their games have gone into penalties. I'm sure they're looking to change that today. This is Flahive on the far side for the Judges. He just dribbles it out of play. Zinner will get us resumed. Here's Osell sending it back to his back line.
Yes, Brandeis forced to play it back upon strong pressure from the Tufts attack.
Walters ball a little bit too much on it for Handler. Handler forced to send it out of play. Zach Trevor with the... Nope, they're going to give possession to Brandeis. Probably the right call there. Here's Handler. Gann sends it back for Lynch.
Brandeis doing well here to play against the unrelenting pressure from Tufts, and being able to pass the ball around has really been key for them in the first half and will remain a big factor in their attacking prowess.
Najar with a poor header there, winds up with Lynch, and that's being tracked down in the corner by Andrew Allen. And now Handler with it, give back for Allen. Calvinero gets it out of danger for Tufts. Travis Van Brewer sends it upfield for Halliday. Halliday with a little bit too much on that ball, and that ball is going to sail almost over our heads into the Tufts fan. And Weatherby sends it back in for Halliday.
Well, we saw some good one-touch play there from Tufts in that attacking sequence. Ultimately, couldn't make the final pass happen, but you'd imagine Tufts are going to be looking to regroup with their next possession.
Andrew Allen sends it upfield. Coleman boots it up in the air. Osell and Lane battling for it. Jar doing a bit of damage control, setting it out of play to alleviate that threat for the time being.
That's something we've seen from both sides, especially in the first half. Just booting out of bounds and hoping for the best. And clearly it's been effective in at the very least stopping the attacking flow of the other team and sort of allowing the defense more time to regroup.
Whistle going against the judges. So we have a jumbo down on the field. Can't quite make out who it is. It might be Dexter Eichhorst. Appears to be grabbing at his ankle. And it was Eichhorst. He'll get to his feet, jog it off.
Well, clearly the Brandeis faithful don't feel that was a necessary foul to be made, given how quickly he returned to his feet. But nonetheless, it is a free kick, and we'll see what Tufts are going to be able to make from it.
Of course, lets that one go by him. Here's Mike Lynch. Good interception from Weatherby. Upfield looking for Allen. Lynch and Weatherby in a battle. Going to give possession to the judges. Osel sends it in for Gans. Far side now, judges working with it. And he just dribbles it out of play for Connor Meath goal kick.
Good attacking sequence there for the judges. Lots of one-touch play, moving the ball around well. But unfortunately, the final play into the box couldn't happen. A little too heavy of a touch there, and possession is back with Tufts for the time being.
Meath with the wind at his back. You can see that ball with a lot more distance on it than his goal kicks were getting in the first half. Center gets it in for Lane. Hernandez butting up Eichhorst. Ball trickles out of play.
Some aggressive defending there from Hernandez to stop the Tufts attacking flow. And you'd see that Brandeis are getting more and more desperate when it comes to stopping the Tufts attack, obviously having a bit of trouble in that regard.
So his pass intended for Lynch, intercepted by Najjar. How they try to flick it over Hennessy, but Hennessy does a good job to maintain his ground. Tufts throwing.
Once again, Brandeis being forced to clear the ball out of bounds in order to stop that Tufts attack. Clearly Tufts putting pressure on them early on in the second half, looking to get a go-ahead goal and really seal the game for them.
Nice play there by Connor Coleman intercepting that pass. Good job by Handler to win it back for the judges. Handler and Lynch having a little game of their own. And Van Brewer was shoved down by Noah Gans. Gans clearly upset with the call, but it did seem like he extended the arms. Obviously Van Brewer, not the biggest guy on the field, so coming in at only 140, He's going to go down easier than some of these guys, which can be helpful when you need to get calls for your team.
Well, yes, the judges having a bit of trouble here maintaining their composure in the defensive third.
Holiday ball into the box. Good job by Woodhouse to come off his line and make that grab.
Well claimed there by Ben Woodhouse, putting himself in harm's way, trying to claim the ball before any of the Tufts attackers were able to, and he was successful on that occasion.
Ball to play. A bit of a confusion between the refs as to who it's going to go to. They're going to give it to Tufts. Once again, at stake in today's game is a trip to the Final Four, a place where both these teams were last year. Judges ultimately getting knocked out, while the Jumbos advanced to the championship, where they ultimately prevailed.
The Tufts have had particularly good records over the past couple of years, especially in the final stages of tournaments, so they're definitely going to be looking to make it as far as possible, and this game may just be nothing more than a stepping stone for them.
That ball sails well over the head of Mike Lynch. Weatherby will get us resumed. Ball in for Eichhorst. Eichhorst sends it far side for Zach Lane. Lane couldn't quite get by Hennessy, but he wins it back. Lane takes a rip. Woodhouse gets a fist on it. Vincent sends it upfield for Osell. Bit of a high kick perhaps by Noah Gans, but no call from the referee. Tufts still threatening here. Eichhorst's ball intercepted by Hernandez. Judges will send it all the way back to Woodhouse. That ball's gonna knuckle out for yet another Sterling Weatherby jumbo throw.
Well, quite a powerful strike at goal by Lane there in that last attacking sequence. Clearly hard for the goalkeeper to deal with, had to punch it away. As I mentioned previously, Lane is a big threat, especially because of his height and his skill and everything that brings to the table, so expect to see a lot more from him in the second half.
Christian Zazali into the game for the Jumbos. He'll replace Zach Trevorrow. Zazali had quite a bit of action in the first half. Zazali didn't get a ton of action throughout the regular season, but as we mentioned earlier, last season in this matchup between these two teams, it was him who got the winning goal in overtime to defeat the Judges 1-0. Perhaps that's some of the thinking behind Coach Shapiro's thinking in putting him into the game.
Well, clearly has some understanding over the way Brandeis play if he was able to score against them. So perhaps Tufts are just looking for that edge and that experience against Brandeis to make something happen in this game.
Nice play there by Eichhorst to win it back for his team. Judges get it right back, however. Here's Lynch. Lynch takes a rip, sails well over the crossbar. The referee's going to stop the clock here.
Very ambitious shot there by Lynch. Clearly one of those hit it and hope kind of situations from very far out, about 30 yards there. And unfortunately for him, went sailing well above the crossbar. Didn't even trouble Connor Meath there on that occasion.
Not quite sure why the referee stopped the clock there. He gave a few words to Calvinero, but no cards were issued or anything like that. So Connor Meath will get play resumed right here. Booming kick deep into Judge territory. Weatherby couldn't quite track it down. Connor Coleman will settle on it. Send it to Eichhorst. Halliday gets by Hernandez. Eichhorst gets by Hernandez. Eichhorst with a shot, which is saved by Ben Woodhouse. Seemed like that shot might have been going to the right of the post regardless, but Woodhouse playing it safe, coming out to make the save.
Low driven shot there by Eichhorst, and a second shot for Tufts in a very short amount of time. Clearly Tufts looking to turn on things in the attacking third, and they've been very successful so far in the first half in troubling the Brandeis defense.
Good play there by the Judges, and they'll win a corner kick here. 10 minutes gone in the second half.
Well, from a clear-cut chance for Tufts, now Tufts are a chance for Brandeis to make something happen, possibly get ahead in this game.
Osell to take. Osell's ball near post. Finds the body of Calvin Arrow. Hennessy with it. Hennessy chips one in the box. Zach Lane boots it out of the box, and that'll trickle out for a judge throw.
Well, just as Tufts have been putting on the pressure in the attacking sense, so have Brandeis. They're clearly not out of this either, and this second half is clearly going to be very back and forth, lots of action.
In the box off of the head of Zazali, and Zazali will send it upfield, forcing Dylan Hennessy to track it down. Or rather, Hennessy will just let it go out of play.
Clear deep there for Brandeis. They're going to have to regroup, try to make something happen. For the time being, it looks like the Tufts defense got away unscathed.
Lynch looking for Osell. Osell trying to get around Weatherby. And Osell goes down. Weatherby going to get whistled for the call. Looks like Osell was just outside that penalty area. Very similar situation to what Tufts had earlier in the first half. And now Brandeis with a real opportunity here.
Well, Tufts are very fortunate for that not to be a penalty. Just on the edge of the box there. Going to be a very good chance for Brandeis to move forward. And you really get the sense that if Tufts made that challenge just a yard more into the box, it would have been a penalty, and Tufts may be seeing their hopes dashed at this point.
It was Osell who went down. It looks like it's going to be Osell to take. Hennessy also sets up in the area, however. Osell broken up by the wall. It was Dexter Eichhorst who got a body on that one. And now here comes Halliday.
Well, Osell clearly going for power on that one, and he maybe should have just looked to whip it into the goal rather than try for a driven shot. Clearly and easily dealt with there by the Tufts defensive setup, and no trouble there really. Tufts will be looking to move forward.
Tanner Jameson in the game now for the Jumbos. He replaces Zinner. Of course, yesterday was Jameson's first action in quite a few weeks as he's been battling with some shin injuries. It's good to see him back out there for the Jumbos. Good slide tackle there by Joshua Handler to break that one up.
Yeah, Zazali just sent down the line there, looking to put in a cross, but excellent sliding challenge to break up the play for the time being.
Ball in the box, Coleman heads it on. Shot, saved, Arrow got ahead on it. Couldn't get much power behind it. Ben Woodhouse didn't really have to hesitate to make that save.
Well, Ben Woodhouse certainly has been tested in the relatively early stages of this second half, and you have to say, just with Connor Meath, they're clearly up to the game today, and they've definitely responded when called upon. They've been solid. Both goalies have been solid in goal today.
That's a poor place to lose the ball there. Weatherby with a poor pass found the foot of Andrew Allen, but Andrew Allen just couldn't get a good pass to his teammate. Fortunate for Tufts, that trickles out of play for a Connor Meath goal kick.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. There's a white Honda Accord parking lot. Hinge plates.
Well, you'd have to think there that if Andrew Allen just had a little bit more patience, maybe looked to find his options a little better, he would have been able to play a successful pass. However, unable to make anything happen there, and Tufts will be looking to make something happen with this next possession.
Coleman looking for Jameson. Instead, it goes off the head of Handler. It'll be Jameson to take this throw in for Tufts. Get in for Halliday. Max Sprider has re-entered the game for the judges as here comes Mike Lynch, working far side on Weatherby. Najjar comes over to help. Osell. Ball in the box. This is Brighter. It's Jackson Najar who wins that battle. Halliday seems to have bodied Noah Gans, but no call, says the ref. Play on.
Yes, that certainly could have been a foul called. A bit of aggressive play to say the least, but the ref's allowed the play to continue, and we'll see what Brandeis are able to do with this next attack.
Osell trying to thread it for Flayhive. Goes out of play. A couple more substitutions now. Jack Delaney, Brett Rojas back in.
Well, Tufts clearly using the substitutions to their advantage, knowing that this game could very well go to extra time, as Tufts have gone to extra time in the past 2 games. So clearly planning ahead for that, keeping their players fresh, and you'd have to argue that it might give them an edge in the end.
Biagio Paletta also into the game for the Jumbos. Colin Panera comes on for the judges as well. Here's Rojas. Zali's ball intercepted by Handler. Jameson couldn't quite get it to Halliday. Here comes Osell. Well done there by Weatherday to break up that threat.
Well, a series of unsuccessful passes, and both teams have been quick to capitalize on that.
Both Flayhive and Arrow go down. Jack Delaney winds up with the ball. A bit too much on that pass from Tanner Jameson, looking for Zazali.
Well, the past couple of minutes have seen the game certainly settle down. Less action at the goal mouth, more play between the teams in the midfield, more aggressive man-on-man play. And certainly the goalkeepers have been troubled less, so we're seeing this game settle down.
Get in for Flayhive. Osell's pass intercepted by Zazali. So just a little bit too much for Rojas, but Rojas still wins it for Tufts.
Well, Rojas there just stopped by the Brandeis defense up against 4 people.
And a clear foul against Josh Osell. He's going to get a yellow card for that. He's clearly clipped the leg of Calvin Arrow. So both teams playing with 1 yellow card now. You can hear the Tufts fans trying to get into the minds of Josh Osell.
Well, Josh Osell, clearly a key player for the judges. Going to have to be extremely careful as the game goes on, not to get himself sent out of the game, because that would clearly be a major issue for Brandeis.
And we're going to have another yellow card going against Brett Rojas. A little bit too aggressive there. Going up for that ball. So 2 quick yellow cards in about 5 seconds of play.
Well, the game is starting to heat up. Clearly expect this to happen given the grudge match status of this game, but no one likes to see the aggressive challenges as we have seen the past couple of minutes. Hopefully the ref is able to keep things under control and keep the game safe for the players.
It's Christian Hernandez who went down. He's back up. Rojas and Hernandez shake hands. Good sportsmanship there. Alex Walter will resume play. Paoletta trying to win it from Panera. Good job by Paoletta. Setting upfield, forcing Hennessy to retreat all the way back. That ball trickles out of play. More substitutions now for both sides. See Joe Braun coming in for Tufts. And we'll get you the judge substitutions in just a moment.
Substitutions for the Jumbos on is number 25, John Braun. Placing number 9, Jim Halliday. For the judges on is number 29, Evan Glass. Placing number 21, Noah Gaines. Number 2, Josh Berg. Takes off number 8, Christian Hernandez.
For the judges, it's Glass and Berg coming on. Brighter in a battle with Jameson. Brighter gets around Jameson, but Jameson does a good job to stand his ground. Ball goes out for a Brandeis throw.
Well, clearly neither side looking to compromise. Every ball is being heavily contested. Neck and neck play here. Clearly each team trying to prevent the other from getting an edge.
20 minutes gone here in the second half. We are still scoreless. Poor ball, and Zach Lane's got it. Lane lays off for Weatherby. Upfield, Joe Braun. Flicks on for Weatherby. Weatherby with a rip into the hands of Ben Woodhouse. Good effort there by Sterling Weatherby.
Powerful shot there. You'd have to say if it was just a little bit better placed, a little more power on that, obviously from very far out, that could have been a real challenge for the man in goal for the judges.
At this point in the game, each side looking to do whatever it takes to find the back of the net. So I'm sure we'll see a lot more shots taken as these final 25 minutes tick on.
Well, certainly the play has settled down a little bit since the attacking flurry towards the beginning of the half. But clearly neither side's willing to give up just yet, and I would certainly expect to see a fair few more attacking chances before this game is over.
Zach Lane tripped up. Panera's got the ball for the judges. Glass to Flayhive. Walter for Handler. Intercepted by Jameson. Goes out of play.
Well, right now Tufts trying to maintain their hold over the game, putting pressure on the Brandeis defense. But now Brandeis have kept possession and are definitely going to be looking to make something happen this next attacking sequence.
Marino Espiga into the game. He replaces Flayhive. Jumbo's wanted a handball there. Said Era's pass goes out of play. Well done by Brett Rojas to break that one up. Osell. Glass for Espiga. This is Hennessy far side. Hennessy whips the ball into the box. Osell went down. Clear no call though. Joe Braun bodying up Alex Walter. Jack Delaney to first to Zazali. Now Zazali leading Joe Braun down in the corner. Good slide tackle there by Alex Walter to break up that threat by the Jumbos.
Well, excellent play there by Alex Walter. Clearly, Tufts capitalizing on that counter-attacking opportunity after winning possession. And Brandeis have been able to cut that opportunity out and hopefully regroup from this point.
Ratson in the game for the Jumbos. Zach Lane will take a seat. Coleman heads it into the box. Ratson with a rip, well over the crossbar. Can't fault Ratson for taking that shot there. He had space, just couldn't quite get a good foot on it.
Was certainly a little off balance when that shot was taken, a little ambitious by him. Disappointing for him, certainly, not being able to capitalize on that clear-cut opportunity. But fortunately for Brandeis, they're able to fight another day and try to see this game out.
Matt Zinner gets the ball in. Coleman looking for Rojas. Rojas just couldn't quite corral that one. Goes out for a Woodhouse kick.
Ambitious, about 40-yard ball there to Rojas. Clearly unlikely to make anything happen in the first place, but you have to think if that would come off, Tufts would have had a real opportunity there to make something happen.
Radson heads it up looking for Joe Braun. This Gans just re-entered the game. "20 minutes left in the second half. Neither team able to break through just yet. It's again a trip to the Final Four at stake here today at Bellow Field.
Well, yes, as you mentioned, Lucas, neither team is breaking through, but they both have certainly tried. We've seen some severely aggressive attacking opportunities throughout the first and second halves, and their respective goalkeepers have certainly been tested thus far, and so it seems to be only a matter of time before one of the chances ends up in the back of the net.
Good ball by Rojas. Zazali battling Handler. Joe Braun to Jack Delaney. Delaney looking to switch sides of the field. Zinner trying to track it down. Goes out of play. Right idea there by the Jumbos. Just a little bit too much on that pass from Jack Delaney.
Well, yes, as the Jumbos attack fizzles out, Brandeis are going to be looking to move the ball up the field, try to launch an attack of their own, and hopefully for them, be able to stage a threat against Connor Meath at the end of the other end of the field.
Jamison, a little bit casual with that ball, and Colin Panera nearly made him pay. Well done by Connor Coleman there to regather. Jamison there, realizing his mistake. Here's Delaney. Looks on for Zazali. Zazali's pass intercepted by Gans. Here comes Noah Gans with space. Gans with the rip. Sails well right of the post. Clearly mishit that one.
Yeah, disappointing shot there for Gans. He had the space, had the opportunity, and you'd really like to have seen him make something better of that shot. But unfortunately for him, that's easy for the goalkeeper to collect and bring it back for a goal kick.
Handler's throw intercepted by Tanner Jamison. Jamison gets up for Joe Braun. Jumbo's moving men upfield. Good interception there by Evan Glass, but the Jumbos still have it. Rojas moving. But Rojas takes a shot right into the hands of Ben Woodhouse. So as we thought would happen, and we thought we would see more in the second half, both teams being more aggressive, taking shots from further out than they were in the first half.
Well, a decent shot there by Brett Rojas. Honestly, could have been bound for the top right corner there. You saw the little bit of curl he put on that, but in the end, not enough power, low shot, easy for the goalkeeper to collect.
As he pops the ball up in the air. Panera simply slipped. Here's Joe Braun. Zinner. Paoletta being harassed there by Brighter, and that ball is going to go all the way back to Connor Meath. Jumbos have plenty of space.
Well, the Jumbos having to play under constant pressure here and doing pretty well for the most part, being able to string together passes despite the pressure from the Brandeis attack. And you'd have to say they've been very composed thus far on the ball in this second half.
Joe Braun whips the ball in the box. Sails out of the box now. And Espico will let that one go out of play. Also into the game now for the Jumbos, Derek Engie. And Brandeis sending Mike Lynch back into the game, the goal scorer from yesterday. Max Brighter will take a seat. Jameson with a good header on to Rojas. But it winds up with Handler. Jameson battling two judges. He does a good job to win that possession for his team.
Yeah, Jameson not being given any space there, being defended very aggressively. And fortunately for Tufts, able to maintain possession without throw-in.
Zinner maneuvering. Goes down, no call from the referee. Ball goes to the midfield line. Jameson is looking for Engie, intercepted by Handler. 15 minutes left in the second half. Delaney wins it from Lynch. Coleman looking for Rojas. Joe Braun couldn't quite get to that one instead. It was Walter who won that battle between the two. Braun flicks it on in the box. Here's Engie. Judges doing a good job to bend but not break.
Well, Tufts looking extremely threatening in these past couple of minutes in the attacking third. Unable to capitalize thus far, but you have to say more shots are to come, and if one of those gets on target, you never know what might happen against Ben Woodburn.
Ball into the box, off the head of Vincent and out of play. Cross in the box, Engie just slipped. Ratson has it taken away by Panera. Paoletta with it. Back for Coleman. Jumbo's sending a lot of men into judge territory. They're trying to get a goal here in regulation. They know what it takes to play in overtime, but I'm sure they would much prefer to get a victory in regulation. Meanwhile, the judges simply need to get the ball back, and here's Engie now with it, edge of area. Engie tried to find Ratson, but it was Panera who got to it first. Opportunity now for the Jumbos as they have a corner kick. 13 minutes, 20 seconds left.
Well, the referee being very generous there. That certainly could have been a free kick, but I'm sure the Jumbos won't be complaining with that corner opportunity.
Delaney played it short for Rojas. Rojas is low, cross in the box, intercepted by a judge. But Zinner wins it back. Rojas trying to keep it for his team. Said it'll go out of play for Tufts throw. These last 5 or so minutes have really been dominated by Tufts. Had a lot of the possession in Brandeis territory. Still trying to break through though.
Yes, Tufts have taken the past 2 games all the way to penalties on both occasions, and they clearly aren't up for that challenge once again. They want to finish this game soon, and you have to say they're certainly capable of doing it given the amount of chances they've had so far in the second half.
Gonna have a couple substitutions for both sides now. Eichhorst and Lane back on for Tufts. Looks like Engie and Delaney will take a seat.
Well, Eichhorst and Lane clearly impact players. Tufts are trying to make something happen in these final 10 minutes. And you have to get the sense that if anyone can do it, it is Eichhorst and Lane.
Jameson's throw finds Joe Braun. Braun with a low cross, deflects off of Joshua Handler. And once again, the Jumbos will have a corner kick. There must have been someone else who went off the field in those substitutions. As Jack Delaney's still on, he's going to take this corner. Jumbos looking to make something here. Delaney, far post, off the head of Joe Braun, and he's frustrated with himself. He knows if he got a better head on that ball, Jumbos could be leading 1-0 in these dying moments.
Could have been an excellent chance. Joe Braun able to reach the ball there. A bit of a miss hit there with the head, and Unfortunately for Tufts, Brandeis are going to be able to restart from the back and maybe make something happen.
Osell heads over to Hennessy. Hennessy gets into jumbo territory. And now it's Allen battling Zinner. Zinner does a good job to get that to Calvinero. Here come the judges. Crossing the box, good head out of there by Jamison. Allen still maneuvering. Clear handball by Allen. Ball just popped up, clearly got him on the arm. Right call by the referee there.
See, Allen just taking his time, not wanting to take the half volley there, trying to bring the ball down before the shot, and in the end, that was his downfall. You have to feel if he took the shot just a little sooner, he may have had a chance on goal, but the handball really ending his hopes there.
Coleman's ball intercepted by Lynch. Lynch and Delaney both go on the ground for it. And it's Gans who's got it. Noah Gans trying to thread the needle for Allen, but Coleman does a good job to make sure he doesn't get to it. And Tufts will send a few more subs in the game now. They're going to send Weatherby and Halliday back into the game. Joe Braun and Tanner Jamison will both take a seat. Like I mentioned earlier, both players coming off of injuries. Of course, Jameson did see action yesterday, but I'm sure Coach Josh Shapiro wants to make sure that they're going to be well rested and ensure that their injuries will not flare back up. Coleman climbs over the body of Andrew Allen, and that's going to be a call against the senior back. No card from the ref. Under 10 minutes left now in the second half.
Well, good chance here for the judges in the later stage of this game. You'd have to think that they're going to try to make the most of this, just send a lofting ball into the box.
Osells ball into the box. Being tracked down by Josh Berg. Of course there to greet him. Now it's Gans. Gets the ball in the box. Kicked out of there by Jumbo. It's retrieved by Handler. Handler with a very poor pass, and it finds the foot of Zach Lane. Lane, he's got Rojas. Rojas with space. Brett Rojas, one man to beat. And he's tripped up by the keeper. And there's going to be no call. It's going to go out for a Ben Woodhouse goal kick. Very, very fortunate there for the judges as Rojas had a lot of space. Good play there by the senior keeper to come off his line and challenge Rojas for that ball.
Well, that was an excellent opportunity for Rojas to make something happen. One-on-one with the goalie. On some days that could have been a penalty, certainly. Rojas being taken down by the goalkeeper. But unfortunately for Tufts, they're just going to have to keep going for it and seeing what they can make happen these final minutes of the second half.
And both Woodhouse and Rojas appear to be a little shaken up. Woodhouse still on one knee. Rojas limping a little bit. He's trying to walk it off. Looks like he's telling the sideline that he's all right. He wants to stay in there, I'm sure. Trainer's out to give Woodhouse some attention. Woodhouse obviously sacrificing his body to ensure that Rojas couldn't put the ball behind him. But Woodhouse will get to his feet. Appears to be all right.
Well, it certainly would be a massive setback for the judges had their star goalkeeper been injured in that last sequence of play. So they're fortunate that they're able to have Woodhouse safe and ready for a potential penalty shootout if it does come to that.
Jumbos will swap Jack Delaney for Travis Van Brewer now. So we have 8 minutes, 7 seconds left. Entire crowd here at Billow Field on their feet. Josh Berg whiffs on it. Hennessy sends it upfield. Allen. Osell. Leaves it for Handler. Rojas going to be whistled for a foul there. He says it was all ball. Tough call there by the referee. Can definitely sympathize with Rojas.
Yeah, Brandeis having a free kick opportunity now from a very similar position as they did with their last free kick. And you'd have to say they're certainly capable of threatening the Tufts goal on this attacking opportunity.
Osell, ball in the box. Head on it by the judges, goes past the post. Meath with a goal kick. Good effort there by Brandeis.
I mean, that was inches away. Connor Meath clearly alert, able to see it wide, knowing it wasn't going to be a threat. However, if it was just a yard to the other side of the goal, that could have been a go-ahead goal for Brandeis.
Rojas gets his heel on it. Zach Lane battling Hernandez. Rojas chips it on for Halliday. Kevin Halliday, give back to Rojas. Rojas sends a cross where Weatherby's waiting. Weatherby's header goes over the crossbar.
Well, Weatherby just impeded there by the Brandeis defense. If he was by himself, he would have had a more direct opportunity, maybe able to make something happen from that play. But good defending by Brandeis to prevent a possible goal-scoring opportunity there.
Zach Lane's got it. Van Brewer puts a move on Osell. Lane for Halliday. Working on Vincent. Upfield, Zinner gets it on the ground, but it's Osell who's there waiting for it. Good job there by Matt Zinner. Hennessy tried to send it upfield. Zinner deflected it, and it goes off of Hennessy and out of play for a jumbo throw deep into Brandeis territory.
Well, Tufts clearly putting a little bit more pressure on the Brandeis defense here in these last 5 minutes. They're unwilling to see this game out into penalties. They want to get a go-ahead goal now, and their play has clearly shown that in these latter stages of the second half.
And the referee's going to stop the clock. Going to say some words to a few players on both sides. Zach Lane send the ball in and get us resumed. Coleman flicks it on. Headed out of there by the judges. Arrow tried to take the shot, he whiffed. Zinner with a shot. That's going to sail well to the right of the post. At this stage of the game, you can't fault him for trying.
Certainly not. I mean, a bit disappointing for him. Couldn't make anything happen on that. A bit of a mishit, really, but the follow-up attempt on goal certainly could have posed a threat, and at this point, that's all Tufts can do, just pepper the goal and hope for the best.
Patrick Flahive re-enters the game for Allen. So we're under 5 minutes now. Here's Arrow. Zach Lane. Good tackle by Dylan Hennessy.
Quite a strong challenge there. Looked malicious on the surface, but clean challenger, got the ball, and excellent defense there from Brandeis.
Zinner upfield. Halliday couldn't quite chest it to a teammate. Said this is Noah Gans. Gans is out of play. Halliday flicks it out.
Well, neither side looking to give up just yet. Brandeis looking to move forward when they have the opportunity with the ball. Tufts looking to do the same. You'd have to say at this point it's looking unlikely that a goal will be scored before the end of the second half, but both teams trying to make a little something happen and try to get the glory before moving on to extra time.
As we mentioned earlier, the Jumbos have not scored in regulation during this tournament, as both their games have gone to penalties. Could be in store for a third straight game that goes down to the very bitter end. Here's Eichhorst. Eichhorst, Rojas in the area, trickles into the hands of Ben Woodhouse. Ball nearly slipped through, creating an opportunity for Tufts.
And Woodhouse been very good at claiming the ball thus far in the game. No nonsense goalkeeping. Aggressive in his approach, and that's paid off dividends for him, certainly. Being able to claim the ball before the attackers has been key in preventing himself from being scored on.
Eichhorst gives it to Zach Lane. Lane lost it. Here comes Hennessy. Upfield is looking for Flayhive. It's Paoletto who intercepts it. Van Brewer upfield trying to get it to Brett Rojas. Too much on it.
See Rojas just a little frustrated there. Could have been a great opportunity for him to be played in on the left side and maybe make something happen. So he's a little disappointed there at his teammate for not being able to provide a solid pass to him.
And this wind is really, really picking up here as we have about 90 seconds left to play. Mike Lynch sends it up for Flayhive. Flayhive working on Coleman. Flayhive low cross. Meath comes off his line. Good job there by Coleman to get it out. Shot by Berg, intercepted by Calvin Arrow. A quick flurry here by the judges. We're gonna have a whistle going against Brandeis. That was Hernandez, who was on the ground. I think he clipped Eichhorst. Fortunate there for the Jumbos as Brandeis really threatening there.
Well, the Brandeis attack fizzles out on this occasion, but they applied immense pressure over the past minute or so, clearly threatening Connor Meath's goal, and you'd have to say it's really any team's game at this point. Either side could get the opportunity to go ahead, and it's a very dynamic game so far.
Osell gets to it before Weatherby. Paoletta bodied up by Glass. Upfield, Flayhive couldn't even see it in the air. Zinner's going to let that one go out as we have under 30 seconds left to play in the second half. Deep in Brandeis territory, looks like Matt Zinner's going to take his time and just get this game in overtime. Eichhorst with a bit of a poor touch, and Brandeis has it. Flayhive flicks it on. Osell couldn't quite maintain possession, and now everybody coming up for Brandeis as we have 6 seconds left. A quick corner here, perhaps. Ball into the box. Someone got a body on it, but it's going to go out of play, and we are headed to overtime. So for the third straight tournament game, the Jumbos do not break through in regulation, and they see their game head into overtime. At the end of 90 minutes, score knotted up at 0. We're going to stay right here as overtime will start in about 5 minutes. We're going to stay here as penalties will start in about 4 minutes. So as we were alluding to, it rained quite a bit earlier today, but we've been very fortunate as the rain's held off throughout this afternoon. The sun's been out all game, but obviously the big factor has been the wind. And I feel like, Andrew, in the past 15 minutes, the wind has really picked up even more so than it did in the first 75 minutes of play.
No, it certainly has, Lucas. The wind has become a major factor in these past couple minutes, especially. Certainly, it's even getting colder as well. That's going to add another level of difficulty for the players, being able to maintain their focus. It's certainly very cold out here today, especially with the wind chill factor. So it just adds something else for the players to deal with.
Something that I noted earlier, I believe in the first half when Ben Woodhouse had the wind at his back, he was taking his goal kicks, but when the sides switched halves of the field, I believe it was Alex Walter who was taking the majority of the kicks. Perhaps Walter has a bit of a stronger leg than his keeper does.
Well, perhaps. Yeah, I'd say it's unclear the Tufts coaching staff's reason for that decision. However, it seems to have worked fairly well enough for them. Certainly Tufts' goal kicks have been effective in returning possession to Tufts, and being able to maintain that level of control over the game has been important to them thus far.
Team's currently huddling up. Coach is giving them some last-minute advice. Of course, what's at stake here today is a trip to the Final Four, as we mentioned throughout the broadcast. Both teams made it to the Final Four last year, obviously because of the way seeding worked and the way the bracket shaped up. Only one of these two teams will be there in December playing for a trip to the national championship.
Clearly both teams are hungry, neither willing to back down, and you'd have to say, Lucas, that both teams are really going to give it all they have in these last stages of the game. It's certainly been a close game as well. Neither team willing to give up ground, fighting for every ball. It's hard to say if either side had an edge throughout the game because it was so neck and neck throughout. So this is certainly going to be interesting.
Saw a couple real good opportunities for both sides in the final 10 minutes or so. Of course, as time was expiring, the judges had a corner kick which nearly found the back of the net. Tufts was fortunate that the clock was winding down and they were able to send it to overtime. And then, of course, for the Jumbos, with about 10 minutes left to play, Brett Rojas, had seemed to be a clear path to the net with only Ben Woodhouse to get by, and Woodhouse did a good job coming off his line to break it up.
Yes, Ben Woodhouse certainly made the difference when he needs to, and you know, talk about Connor Meath as an excellently talented goalkeeper. Well, Ben Woodhouse certainly is no exception to that. He's been extremely key for Brandeis so far this game in stopping the Tufts attacks, and you have to say, to finish out this game, they're going to need to continue relying on him to pull out the best that he can.
See for Tufts, a couple players that they had subbed on throughout the game are going to get the start here in overtime. See Joe Braun, Zach Trevorrow, Jack Delaney amongst others out there. Start first overtime, Connor Meath is going to have the wind at his back. It's going to be blowing in the face of Woodhouse. Here we go. Overtime periods, 10 minutes each. If one team scores, that's it. That's the golden goal rule of Division III men's soccer. And of course, if after 2 periods of overtime play there's still no score, we head to penalties, something that the Jumbos are clearly very used to.
Well, yes, you have to wonder if the Jumbos are going to try to play for penalties. Clearly, they're experienced in them, as you said, and they're clearly capable of pulling out results on the basis of penalties. So you have to say that's something that they might look for at the end of these 2 halves.
He sends the ball upfield. Joe Braun flicks it on over the head of Kevin Halliday.
The ball going all the way back to Ben Woodhouse. Certainly the wind playing a factor in that, allowing it to travel extremely far, but that adds another level of complexity for the Brandeis defense to deal with as we move into overtime here.
Osell lays it off for Handler. This is Berg. Walter. Upfield looking for Flayhive. Coleman gets ahead on it first. Evan Glass. Lynch. Good ball movement by the judges.
Well, the judges string together some good passes there in that last sequence. But yes, their progress has been stifled by the constant pressure the Tufts have been applying thus far.
Far side for Zazali. Try to get it to Joe Braun, but that's where Vincent is. Good slide tackle there by Berg. Excuse me, that was Hennessy. Zazali flicks it into the corner, where Hennessy will just let it trickle out for a goal kick.
So Brandeis certainly going to use this opportunity to regroup, take their time, possibly try to make something happen, and try to move the ball up the field unimpeded by the Tufts pressure.
And it will be Sam Vincent to boot that kick. Berg pokes it up in the air. Weatherby rises up to head it out of play.
Well, Brandeis threatening here. Tufts being forced to clear it out of play as they continue to move forward up the field. You'd have to say that they're going to be trying to end this game before it goes to penalties, knowing how well Tufts can do during spot kicks.
Zinner sends it upfield looking for Halliday. And Alex Walter having to do the best he can there. As Halliday was putting a lot of pressure on him, he'll send it out of play.
Certainly a bit nerve-wracking there, but he did what he had to do in the end and cleared the ball for Brandeis to be able to restart.
Here's Berg upfield. He was looking for Flay High, but Coleman was better positioned. Glass. Upfield off of Delaney. Joe Braun bodying up Hernandez. Delaney defers for Zinner. Eichhorst. Joe Braun. Braun for Delaney. Intercepted there. Now here comes Brandeis. Osell. Moving up the field, Flayhive. Flayhive's pass, he was trying to get it back to Evan Glass, intercepted by Zinner. Now Zinner making a nice little run here.
Well, what really could have been a great chance for Brandeis is cut out easily, to be fair, by the Tufts defense, and Tufts looking to move forward from here. They're not taking their time, looking to play with urgency and make something happen here.
Trevor to Arrow. Trevor's pass intercepted by Berg. Berg upfield looking for Osell. Once again, Coleman boots it up right near us. Out of play. Substitutions coming on for both teams now. Noah Gans into the game. See Alex Ratson has come on. Looks like Zach Lane is out there as well, and Travis Van Brewer. This is Gans in the corner. Give for Osell. Good tackle by Ratson. Ball goes off at the foot of Berg. Jumbos will have a throw deep in their own territory. Over halfway through this first overtime period.
Well, Brandeis doing well there to regain possession after that Tufts throw. But you have to say that for Brandeis to make something happen in this overtime period, they're certainly going to have to do a better job with dealing with the Tufts pressure. Clearly shown to be challenged by that so far, and it's going to be key for them to overcome that if they want to get a go-ahead goal at this point.
Vincent upfield for Lynch. Here comes Hennessy. Dylan Hennessy try to get a low cross. Hennessy goes down and no whistle from the ref. Kevin Halliday tripped up. Once again, no call. Referee letting him play on right now. Ball looking for Josh Berg, intercepted. Pass upfield to no one in particular. Brandeis can regain possession.
Well, Brandeis have been doing well at maintaining possession over the past minute or so. Haven't been able to make anything happen on the attacking front, but you have the sense that they're certainly pushing to it.
Low cross into the box. Good interception there. Shot by Lynch, well over the crossbar. Brandeis with a real threat there. Good play by Ratson to break that one up.
Well, yes, that certainly would have been disappointing for Brandeis. Clearly a very good opportunity there as well. Soars well above the goal, and now Tufts have an opportunity to make something happen against Brandeis before this period of overtime ends.
Of course, flicks it upfield. Hennessy clears it. Lynch heads it on. Noah Gans was battling Travis Van Brewer, and Van Brewer went down. Tufts will have a free kick here.
Ref doesn't think that's worthy of a card and allows Tufts to take the free kick late in this overtime period. Tufts will be looking to hopefully trouble the Brandeis defense and score that golden goal.
Ball in the box. This is Halliday. Halliday with a shot over the crossbar. Excellent opportunity there for the Jumbos. Halliday just couldn't quite keep it low enough.
What can you say about that one? Absolutely inches away. Maybe if Halliday had a little more composure on him, obviously a very tough shot to take. That would have been in the goal, and Tufts would be on their way to the Final Four at this point. But you have to say that that was definitely Tufts' best chance of the game.
Well, he's going to be looking back at that one, and he's going to be very frustrated that he missed that shot. Meanwhile, Brandeis looking to push. That ball sails well out of play. 90 seconds left in this first overtime period. Weatherby gets it in for Joe Braun. Flick on. Halliday. Halliday low cross. I believe that deflected off of a judge, and it did. Tufts will have a corner here.
Tufts really piling on the pressure in this last minute of the overtime period, and you have to say they're really going for it at this point, not willing to settle for penalties.
Travis Van Brewer to take. Van Brewer whips the ball in the box, and it hits the side netting.
Disappointing there. Could have looked like could have troubled the Brandeis defense there a little more, but unfortunately for Tufts, straight to the side netting, and easy for Brandeis to go and set up for a possible attack.
Van Brewer was looking near post, just couldn't quite keep it in play. And the ball trickling off its spot due to the wind. That's really picking up. Referee stops the clock with 33.4 seconds left. If Brandeis hurries, perhaps one final push. Weatherby comes up to get that head on it. Halliday will send it out of play. Well, with Brandeis being deep in their own territory, I'd expect to see them take their time with this throw.
Yes, Brandeis looking to play out the remaining seconds of this half and then trying to regroup for the beginning of the next. But a very eventful first half of overtime here, certainly, at Bellow Field.
So after 10 minutes of overtime play, neither side able to break through. Once again, we'll stay with you here as we have only 2 minutes between overtime periods. Much of the same that we saw in the final 15 minutes of playing regulation, I would say, Andrew. Both sides being very aggressive, having a couple opportunities, just couldn't quite find the back of the net.
Certainly, as you mentioned, an absolutely action-packed first period of overtime. You have that perfect chance from Tufts to get that golden goal and finish things off early, of course, which went just over the bar. So unlucky there for Tufts. But yes, as you said, the aggressive play continues, and I would expect it to continue into the second period of overtime. Neither team seems willing to settle for penalties at this point, and so I can expect both teams to give it all they've got.
Well, Kevin Halliday with a shot that just sailed a little bit over the crossbar could have given Tufts the win. Of course, the winner of this game moves on to the Final Four in December.
Well, yes, Halliday's got to be kicking himself for that one. Had the chance to become a hero for the Jumbos, but came up short in the end. Hopefully the Jumbos will have a chance to redeem themselves for that. But at this point in time, they have to see that as a missed opportunity.
And once again, as we mentioned, if neither team scores within these next 10 minutes of play, we'll be heading to penalties, something that the Jumbos are very, very used to. Both their wins in this tournament having come at the very bitter end after the penalty shootout was over.
And certainly, we have to get the sense that Brandeis, knowing how skilled the Tufts are in the penalty shootout, will be desperate at trying to prevent that scenario from happening.
You can see as teams switch sides of the field, Connor Meath now will be playing with the wind in his face. Not just the wind now. The sun also is going to play a factor for him. But as we've seen him utilize throughout the year, he's got one of those goalie caps that'll help shield his eyes from the sun.
That's very important here now, going towards the late afternoon. It's going to be key for the players to get whatever advantage they can and being able to play most effectively.
Teams take their position. We're about ready to kick off the second period of overtime. Will we have a golden goal winner to move on to the Final Four, or will we see penalties once more for Tufts? Rojas back into the game for the Jumbos. Referee make sure everyone's set, and here we go. Rojas quickly intercepted by Hernandez. Panera just slipped.
I mean, even early on, you can see both teams looking towards each possession with pace, not willing to give anything up, and clearly the coaches have told them to give it all they've got.
Aggressive tackle there by Lynch. And he's going to be called for a foul there on Arrow.
Yes, the Brandeis faithful unhappy with that decision, clearly. And Tufts now have a good opportunity to loft the ball into the box and see if they can get a header on it.
It will be Kevin Halliday. Halliday whips the ball edge of the box. Lane gets a foot on it. Ripped by Rojas. Deflects off of a Brandeis defender. Brandeis not out of it yet. This is Van Brewer. Van Brewer showing the fancy footwork. Cross in the box, deflects off of Hernandez. Excuse me, I believe that was Berg. And here comes Mike Lynch. Jackson Jar steps up. Now Zach Lane with it.
Well, Brandeis hanging on with the skin of their teeth there. Could have easily been a goal there by Rojas, but well cleared, and they're able to try to regroup and stop this next Tufts attack.
Tanner Jameson has it deflect off of him, out of play. Jackson Ajar goes off of his own teammate. That was Arrow, got him in the back of the head. Arrow clearly wasn't expecting that. Still deep in Tufts territory. Here's Handler. Rojas battling Hernandez.
Well, Brandeis is being able to play the ball around a little bit, but gets called by the referee.
Berg got his arm on that one, handball. Van Brewer. Working far side. Jameson. Here's Arrow. Najar not sure who is trying to find there, and it finds the feet of Mike Lynch. Here's Osell. Osell's got Glass running with him. Try to feed it to Glass. Najar gets a head on it. And a big tackle down in the corner. Panera hit the deck. It was Arrow who made the tackle, and no call from the referee, much to the dismay of the Brandeis fans here. Out of play, Jumbos will have it.
Real chance for Osell there, moving forward and trying to use his playmaking abilities to their full potential, but unlucky for Brandeis, cut out by the Tufts defense in the end, and Tufts will now look to move the ball forward in what has been a lively second period of overtime.
Here's Brett Rojas. He has it poked away by Hernandez. And he clearly hooked him. Hernandez wants Rojas to receive a second yellow card. Referee will stop play. And he is reaching for his pocket. That's Brett Rojas' second yellow card, and Rojas is off. Big swing of momentum here as the Jumbos will now be playing down a man with 6 minutes, 21 seconds left in the second overtime period.
Well, At this point in time, down the man, you'd have to expect Tufts to settle down, wait for penalties, try to play things around the back, play things simple, because at this point, Brandeis are really going to be pushing, and they're going to want to shore up their defense as much as possible.
That call clearly riled up the Judges fans here, as Osell has a set piece now. Osell, ball into the box. Meath comes out to get a fist on it. Still loose. Osell trying to track it down. Arrow in the area as well. Osell simply slipped, and that goes out for a jumbo throw. Good job by the Jumbo's back line there, heading that ball out of danger.
Well, yeah, it's unlucky there for Osell and the Brandeis team as a whole. But you have to say he was under severe pressure there by the Tufts defense, and so Tufts will feel fortunate to be able to get out of this play with possession.
Jumbo's going to bring a bit more size on the field as Paoletta comes on for Van Brewer. Here's Jameson. Halliday goes down. Whistle going against Brandeis.
As you see here, Tufts launching another attack, clearly unwilling to settle despite having a one-man disadvantage against Brandeis. Clearly still want to push forward to a certain extent and see what they can make happen in these final 5 minutes.
Here's Vincent. Upfield looking for Lynch. It's Najjar who gets his head on it first. Lynch tripped up there. Foul against Tufts, as we're under 5 minutes left in the second overtime. Will we see a late goal, or will we be heading to penalties? Tufts now playing down a man.
That's a question of the day. You'd expect Tufts to tend to shore things up and just play around the back for the remaining 5 minutes, but they clearly still want to go for it, and so who knows what these final 5 minutes will bring.
Osell sends a ball, edge of the box. Here's Vincent. Vincent trying to get by Weatherby. Good play there by Paoletta to send it upfield where Hennessy is there to retrieve. Osell bodied up by Jameson. We're going to have a call going against Josh Osell. Good job there by Tanner Jameson to win that call. And Connor Meath will come up to take this free kick, so Tufts can send men up.
Well, despite that call, Brandeis have nevertheless been emboldened by that sending off and are clearly looking to press forward in these final stages of the game and give the Tufts defense something to fight against.
Paoletta heads it down. Gonna have a handball going against somebody. Not sure if Coleman got it with his hand first, or if it was Lynch. Referee's gonna stop the clock, sort this out. I'm not sure if the ball bounced up and got Coleman's arm first, or if it just bounced up and got Lynch, but it seems like one of them definitely got a hand on it. Referees will gather to discuss. And they're gonna say that Lynch is the one who got it, not Coleman, so Tufts will have possession.
Well, the Brandeis faithful unhappy with that decision. Clearly the referee had to consult with his assistant to reach a verdict in that decision, but Tufts will feel fortunate and now are able to move forward in the attack.
Weatherby with a long ball into the box. Woodhouse trying to size it up. Gets a fist on it, still loose. Lynch is there. Paoletta. So loose. Coleman flicked out of there by Panera, and now here comes Josh Osell and the Judges. Up ahead, and Jar gets a head on it. Handler. Out of play off of a judge.
Well, it could have been a very dangerous situation for the Jumbos there. Clearly committed a lot of players going forward. Brandeis got the counterattack, and they're pressing against Tufts, but that header by Najjar was key into preventing the attack from going forward. And you have to say Tufts have been a little fortunate there not to have a serious threat against them from the Brandeis attack.
Both teams making perhaps a final set of substitutions here as we have 2.5 minutes left in the second overtime period. Jameson sends the ball in looking for Joe Braun. Down in the corner. Alex Walter will just send it out of play. Tufts with a throw in Brandeis territory.
Well, despite being down a man, Tufts clearly still pressing in the final stage of this game. Brandeis still threatened by the Jumbo's attack, despite having the man advantage. So it'll be interesting to see how these remaining minute and a half plays out.
Coleman just sends it upfield. Brandeis perhaps could have had a break there. Joe Braun unable to keep it in play, goes out for a throw. 90 seconds left. Jameson gets his head on it. Here's Berg. Upfield in the direction of Lynch. Connor Meath comes out, gets a kick on it, not a very good one. Shot, finds the back of the net. Brandeis goes home with the win. What a play by the judges to punch their ticket to the Final Four. And for Tufts, heartbreak to lose in such a fashion as that.
What unbelievable scenes here. Saw Connor Meath off his line, took the lobbing shot straight into the back of the net. That was the opportunity Brandeis needed to move forward, and the best opportunity of the game. They took it well, and you have to say, well done to Brandeis for being able to capitalize on that.
Well, we seemed like we were destined for penalties, but ultimately Brandeis comes away with the victory, and they're headed to the Final Four for the second year in a row. Connor Meath, who had been so fantastic throughout this entire tournament, simply could not get quite a good foot on that one, and Brandeis comes away with the victory.
Yes, you have to say Connor Meath had been so pivotal in Tufts' chances leading up to this game, and that bit of a missed clearance there towards the end would have been really disappointing for him,
And
to
it's
say the least.
Patrick Flahive who gets credit for the goal. And Brandeis sees their season continue. As the Tufts season comes to an end, I'd like to highlight the seniors on this team: Christian Zazali, Tyler Kolsar, Dexter Eichhorst, Kevin Halliday, and of course Matt Zinner, Connor Coleman, and Bruce Johnson for a fantastic career here at Tufts. They gave so much to this program, and we thank them for all that they gave. Brandeis gets revenge here at Bellow Field, and they are headed to the Final Four. Tufts goes home, the bitter defeat. Excellent game between two powerhouses here in Division III men's soccer. For Andrew Anderton and the entire JumboCast crew, my name is Lucas Johnson, signing off.